Imagine a high-speed car crash. The metal screams, the glass shatters into a million diamonds, and the force of the impact is enough to pulverize human bone into dust. The paramedics arrive, expecting a tragedy. But when they pull the driver from the wreckage, he doesn't have a single fracture. Not a broken rib, not even a cracked shin. Doctors run x-rays, convinced the machines are broken. They aren't. This man possesses a skeleton so dense, so unnaturally strong, that it's practically indestructible. He isn't a comic book hero. He's a real person with a genetic mutation so rare that only a handful of families on Earth carry it. We like to think of evolution as a slow, uniform process that moves us all forward together, but that's a lie. Evolution is messy, and sometimes it takes a massive leap forward for a tiny, chosen group of people. While you were sleeping, a new breed of humans has been emerging. People who don't need sleep, people who can see colors that don't technically exist, and people whose blood is literally worth more than gold. Today, we are diving into the 7 genetic superpowers that 99% of the population will never possess. And by the end of this video, you'll realize that the X-Men aren't just in the movies, they are walking among us. The real question is, are you one of them? The Unbreakable. The LRP5 Mutation. In '94, a man in the Midwest, let's call him John, walked away from a devastating car accident without a single broken bone. This caught the attention of Dr. Carl Insogna at the Yale Bone Center. When the medical team looked at John's x-rays, they thought they were looking at a stone statue. His bone density was 8 times higher than the average male. This wasn't just a fluke of nature. It was a mutation of the LRP5 gene. This gene is responsible for the signaling that tells your body to build bone. In 99% of us, LRP5 has a ceiling. But for John and his family, that ceiling was gone. Their bones just kept getting denser. But having unbreakable bones comes with a terrifying trade-off that John discovered when he tried to go for a swim. We'll get to that in a moment. First, you have to understand why evolution hasn't given this to everyone. Dense bones are heavy. They require massive amounts of energy to maintain. For our ancestors, being too heavy meant being too slow to outrun a predator. John's superpower is a modern miracle, but 10,000 years ago, it might have been a death sentence. The Sleepless Elite, the DEC2 Gene. We are told we need 8 hours of sleep to function. If you get 4, you're a zombie. Your brain fogs up, your heart rate spikes, and your long-term health collapses. But there is a group of people known as the Sleepless Elite. These individuals can run global corporations, write novels, and stay physically fit on just 4 or 5 hours of sleep per night, indefinitely. No caffeine, no crashes, no health problems. This isn't a hustle culture myth. It's the DEC2 Gene mutation. Researchers at UCSF found that people with this mutation have brains that are simply more efficient at cleaning themselves during sleep. While your brain needs 8 hours to take out the metabolic trash, their brain does it in half the time. They essentially get an extra 60 days of life every single year compared to you. Think about that. Over a 70-year lifetime, a person with the DEC2 gene has nearly 12 extra years of conscious, productive time. It is perhaps the most practical superpower in the modern world. The golden blood, the Rh-null burden. If you think gold is the most expensive substance on Earth, you're wrong. The most valuable liquid in existence is currently flowing through the veins of fewer than 50 people worldwide. It's called Rh-null, better known as golden blood. In the world of transfusion, Rh-null is the universal donor. It lacks all 61 possible antigens in the Rh system. It can save anyone. But there's a catch, a terrifying one. If a person with golden blood ever needs a transfusion themselves, they can only receive golden blood. Imagine living in a world where you can save everyone, but almost no one can save you. Take the case of Thomas. For decades, Thomas has lived a life of extreme caution. He doesn't travel to countries with undeveloped healthcare. He carries a special card at all times. His blood is so rare that scientists have to fly it across borders in armored containers for life-saving surgeries. This isn't just a mutation, it's a biological double-edged sword. Now, let's talk about a man who shouldn't be alive. For decades, the world watched Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, consume enough substances to kill a small village. By all laws of medicine, his body should have given up in the 1980s. But in 2010, researchers at Nome decided to sequence his genome to solve the mystery. What they found was a genetic masterpiece of survival. Ozzy possesses a never-before-seen mutation in his ADH4 gene, which allows his body to break down alcohol at a rate 10 times faster than a normal human. But that wasn't all. They found variants in his CYP6 gene that changed how he processed toxins. Ozzy Osbourne isn't just a rock star. He is a genetic outlier, a man whose DNA was built to survive what would destroy 99% of us. The Marathon Gen, the Sherpa Deep Dive. To understand the Sherpa superpower, we have to look at a mountaineering legend, Kami Rita Sherpa. Most people would need an oxygen tank just to stand at the summit of Everest for 5 minutes. Kami Rita has done it 30 times. But how? In 2017, a study published in the journal PNAS took a group of lowlanders and a group of Sherpas and tracked their ascent to Everest Base Camp. What they found was shocking. While the lowlanders' bodies struggled, their mitochondria, the power plants of the cells, began to leak energy like a broken battery. But the Sherpas? Their mitochondria actually became more efficient. You see, for most of us, when oxygen is low, our bodies produce more red blood cells to carry what little oxygen is left. This makes your blood thick like sludge, leading to heart failure and altitude sickness. But Sherpas have a mutation in the EPAS1 gene, often called the super athlete gene. Their blood stays thin. Their heart works less. They aren't just climbing the mountain. Biologically, they are the mountain. But here's the mystery. Scientists recently discovered this gene didn't evolve in humans. It came from an extinct species of ghost humans called Denisovans. How did an extinct species from 50,000 years ago give modern Sherpas the ability to conquer Everest? The tetrachromats, the Conchetta Antico story. Now, let's step out of the thin air of the Himalayas and into the studio of Conchetta Antico, an artist based in San Diego. To you, a rose is red. To Conchetta, that same rose contains flashes of gold, veins of emerald green, and shadows of deep indigo that don't even have names in our language. Conchetta is a tetrachromat. While you have 3 types of cone cells in your eyes, she has 4. This tiny genetic tweak doesn't just sharpen her vision. It expands the dimensions of her reality. Think about it this way. A normal human sees 1 million colors. Conchetta sees 100 million colors. She describes looking at a pebble on a driveway and seeing a rainbow of mosaics. But there is a lonely side to this superpower. Conchetta often feels overwhelmed in grocery stores or urban environments. The visual noise of modern life, fluorescent lights, mismatched plastics, can be physically painful. She is seeing a world that is too loud for the human brain to handle. Interestingly, the gene for tetrachromacy is carried on the X chromosome. This means this superpower is almost exclusively found in women. But could there be men out there with a different version of this gift? Let's look at the next mutation that defies the laws of physics. The virus shield, the CCR5 delta-3-2 mutation. In the late 1980s, the world was gripped by a terrifying plague, HIV/AIDS. It was seen as an inescapable death sentence. But in the shadows of the crisis, doctors noticed something impossible. There were individuals who, despite repeated exposure to the virus, never became infected. They were biologically immune. The secret was a mutation called CCR5 delta-3-2. To understand this, imagine HIV as a thief with a master key. To enter your cells, it needs to turn a specific lock called the CCR5 receptor But in people with this mutation, the lock is missing. The thief arrives at the door, but there's no way in. The case of the Berlin patient, this discovery led to one of the greatest miracles in medical history. Timothy Ray Brown, known as the Berlin patient, was suffering from both HIV and leukemia. He received a bone marrow transplant from a donor who happened to carry the rare CCR5 delta 32 mutation. The result? The new mutated immune system wiped out the virus entirely. Timothy became the first person in history to be cured of HIV. But this superpower isn't a free gift from nature. Scientists believe this mutation became common in Northern Europeans only because their ancestors survived another horror, the Black Death, or smallpox. Your ancestors had to live through a literal apocalypse so you could have a chance at this immunity today. The future. Designer superhumans, we've seen the unbreakable, the sleepless, and the immune. But where does this leave us? We are currently standing at the edge of a biological revolution. With technologies like CRISPR, we no longer have to wait 10,000 years for evolution to give us these gifts. We can code them, but should we? If we give everyone unbreakable bones, do we lose what makes us fragile and human? If we all become sleepless elites, will we just spend that extra time working more, losing the beauty of our dreams? At the beginning of this journey, I asked you, are you one of the chosen, what maybe you've realized you only need 5 hours of sleep, or that you see colors in the sunset that your friends can't describe? If so, you are a living bridge to the future of our species. But even if you don't have these rare genes, remember this. The very fact that you are here, watching this, means your ancestors possess the greatest genetic superpower of all. Survival. The final twist. Before you go, check the roof of your mouth with your tongue. If you feel a hard, bony lump right in the middle, you have what's called a torus palatinus. It's a harmless bone overgrowth found in only about 20% of people. It's not a superpower, but it's a reminder that your DNA is still writing its own unique story. Which of these 7 superpowers would you trade everything for? The extra time of the Sleepless Elite, or the invincibility of the Unbreakable? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to discover more secrets hidden in your own biology, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, Lost Origins. Our next deep dive will reveal the forbidden genes that were almost deleted from human history. You won't want to miss it.